Good morning, Cigar Pals. Today we are doing the Lunatic. It's the JFR Lunatic Locos. This is a Perfecto 4 3/4 by 70 inch. 70 inch, yeah. 4 3/4 by 70. Perfecto full strength. On the aroma, we got raisins and chocolate, earth, and spice. Very nice cigar. I'm looking forward to getting into this a little bit because I started this yesterday and the lawnmowers were running and so I had to stop. But I'm looking forward to getting into it. They got a really neat backstory on this cigar, and you'll be interested in hearing that. So I'm gonna do the cut. No, this cut doesn't. Let me show you. Let me show you this cigar. Very nice, nice, kind of a toothy wrapper on it. Dark, very dark. It's got a triple cap with this pigtail on there. I don't know if y'all know that. You're supposed to twist that pigtail off and, you know, it makes it like a punch hole. I'm not big on that, but that's the reason they put it on there. That's the other end. You can see that oily sheen on there. But good looking cigar. I'm looking forward to smoking it. I've actually got a box of these, and I have smoked some already. So we'll. I'm already aware that this is a nice stick. But it's not for it's not for the novice. Believe me, this is a strong cigar. Full flavor. I'm getting that raisiny, almost a fermented raisin type. Chocolate, and earthy, and chocolate, earth, and raisin that I'm picking up so far. Little spice on my tongue. Nice so far. Let's fire it up and see what she's going to smoke like. These are kind of a little different because they start off with such a small area that you can actually light. Some people actually cut that off. I kind of get a kick out of watching it burn. It kind of starts slow and then it kind of builds up. Definite earthiness there, and that chocolate, the raisin. I'm catching that sweetness from the raisin. What else? All right, we'll be back. All right, we're back. This is got a nice draw to it, considering the fact that it's as big as it is and the way it burns and everything. But the draw is nice. A lot of smoke. A lot of. I'm still getting a lot of that earthy and the sweetness, the raisin, spice, and not a bad stick. This comes from Cuban Seed, and I'm gonna tell you a little bit about it in a little bit. But this is a JFR Lunatic Locos, as it says. It's this is their strongest cigar to date. So now knowing that, you know this is not for the novice cigar smoker. They got a wrapper is an Aganorsa Leaf, shade-grown Corojo Maduro in Nicaragua. And I'm going to tell you all about this, where this Aganorsa Leaf came from in a bit here. The binder's Nicaragua Maduro, and the filler's Nicaragua Maduro. The size on this is they call it a Loco, 4 3/4 by 70. So it's a Perfecto. So that's what we know about it right now. I'm going to tell you a little bit more about it here as we go along. I'm going to put links in this thing like I always do, and I really suggest go check out these links. They got a great story how this all came about. These I'm going to tell you about it in a few minutes. I'll be back. And we're back. Picking up a little pepper, a little spice on the tongue. Still got that earthiness to it. And overall I like it. It's a it's a strong cigar, you know, and I usually don't smoke a strong cigar this early in the morning. Speaking of this early in the morning, it's kind of a conflict here because I'm not at my best as far as my narration or my talking about cigars at first thing in the morning. But what I am at my best at is my palate is at its best early in the morning, so I can give you a more definitive idea of what I'm tasting on this thing. So, you know, just kind of trade-off, because I smoke all day. Later in the day I'm not as keen on it. But anyhow, what I want to tell you about though, in 1998 Eduardo Fernandez went to Nicaragua with a dream to grow the finest tobacco in the world that captured the very essence of the Cuban cigars of old. To do this, he traveled to Cuba and assembled a world-class team of Cuban agronomists who worked at the highest levels of Cuban tobacco, in many cases for over half a century, and brought them to Nicaragua. These men oversaw the production of tobacco during the heyday of the Cuban cigars, knew exactly the taste they were famous for, and recognized that they could recreate the style and aroma of Cuban leaf using traditional Cuban methods in conjunction with resources available to them in Nicaragua. The tobacco they cultivated is named Aganorsa Leaf. That is the gist of this. Is a Cuban, I guess the closest thing to a representative Cuban copy. You know, they basically took a bunch of Cuban people, you know, specialists in the tobacco field, moved them to Nicaragua and started growing tobacco and doing things the Cuban way. So that's what this represents. So, nice cigar, and a unique cigar, and I'm enjoying it immensely. It's not, like I say, this is different. This is not, even though it's a complex cigar, it's not like my Oriana or something like that kind of complex. This is a, for lack of a better word, this is a man cigar, you know. This is a freaking cigar that it's very representative of Cuban. I don't know a lot about Cuban cigars, but this is very representative of Cuban cigars, and I get it, you know. Anyhow, I'll be back to tell you more about the cigar as it goes along. Bye. All right, we're about a third of the way in. Burning nicely. I had to touch it up a little bit. These, you know, the Perfecto type cigar and this heavy leaf, the burn tends to be a little jagged, but the draw is nice. The smoke is great. This Aganorsa leaf is used in a lot of cigars around the world. I'll probably write a little more about it in the blog post, but there's a great backstory on this thing, and I love reading this stuff, you know, and it's pretty interesting. So I'll leave links for it in the blog post. But there's tons of stuff. I'm reading a review by Cigar Aficionado right now about them, and it's all pretty fascinating. I encourage you to, you know, check out this stuff. I put the links in there for you to check it out. Check it out. It's fun. Anyhow, I gotta stop saying that word. I'll be back. Alright, we're about halfway in. Still burning nicely. I touched it up again, but it's got this is a smooth cigar. It's got a very unique flavor to it. I'm not sure, but I think I will probably be able to identify it as the years go by, you know, in the future. But it's smooth, and I'm catching, it's kind of a creaminess to it. You know, not a creamy. It's just a smoothness that sits on my tongue, and you know, it's got a long finish. It's a unique cigar. It's different than I think most things I've smoked. But I'm liking it very much. I've got a box of them. Let me show you the box here. The Lunatic box, right? And I'll see if I can open them up without spilling them. But the box is very tight. But as you can see, I have some. I haven't smoked all these. I've got them out to. I put them in the humidor, so I would have them fresh for this review. I obviously don't have room to put boxes of cigars in my humidors because I don't have that set up. But overall, I really like this cigar. I'm still picking a lot of those flavors. The earthiness, there's that sweetness of the raisin, the chocolatey. It's all very subtle, but it's there. Most interesting cigar. If you get a chance to pick one of these up, I highly recommend it. I recommend buy the box, but they $89 for 10 sticks. That's less than $10 a stick, and that's not bad for this type of a cigar. But it's a interesting cigar. I was just going to tell y'all about a little bit about the way they age these cigars and fermentation and all that stuff. You know, the science behind cigars is incredibly intense. It's very, I mean, there's just so much about it. I have no idea about a lot of this stuff, but what I find fascinating is the way they'll take a leaf. They say, I'm reading about a cigar that Aganorsa came out with, and this leaf is it's not this cigar, but it's a leaf that on a new cigar they've got out, and it was put out. The tobacco was grown in 2006, and then it was put up, you know, and it's been aging for all this time, and then they come out in 2020 or 2019 with this new cigar. You know, it's incredible how they figure all this stuff out, and they get it to that right point. You know, huge investment, and you know, you've got this leaf that you grow in 2006, and you're sitting on it till 2020 before you actually do something with it. I mean, it's fascinating, you know, and I'm sure it takes a huge amount of money to do things like that, you know, to just sit there but of course they've got all kind of things going on. But if you're like me, you like to check this stuff out and read about all these different things and think about the science behind it. I learned that when I met Eladio Diaz, you know, a year and a half ago down in the Dominican Republic. He's Davidoff's master blender, and these guys are just incredible with their knowledge of the tobacco and stuff. I was reading about the Aganorsa Leaf, the article by Cigar Aficionado that they did on them, and one of the guys that is part of the process there, one of the agronomists that works with them, he's sitting there and he rolls a complete cigar out of one leaf of the tobacco, and he smokes that to get the essence of that leaf that's going to go into, you know, as you know, you've got a wrapper, you've got a binder, sometimes you have a double binder, you have fillers, you know, and you're sitting there and you're you know, all these flavors come together. But this guy's sitting there and he's smoking he calls a puro of that particular leaf, that one particular leaf. The whole cigar is made out of that particular leaf, so he gets the full essence of that. And then he's got another cigar of another leaf, and he's sitting there with both of them in his mouth and drawing them in. But that's what it takes for them to come up with things like this. So when you're smoking a cigar, think about everything that goes into that cigar you're smoking. It's incredible. I'll be back. Couple other things I want to point out. The Aganorsa Leaf, they sell to people like some of their warped. I just did a video, a review of a warped cigar recently. Foundation Cigar Company. I've done reviews of Foundation Cigar Companies, you know. It just goes to show you that these guys are not new in the industry. They're not something, you know, that just popped up. These guys have been around since 1998, but they're becoming very integrated into the whole tobacco world, and you'll hear more and more about the Aganorsa Leaf in the days to come, or the months and years. And like I said, they've been around for quite a while, so you know, they're out there. And when you get a chance, you know, not necessarily, I mean, I recommend smoking the Lunatic, but the Lunatic Locos, but I also recommend paying attention when you see something that's got this leaf in it. Try it out. You know, I'm not sure exactly how this all, whether that comes into this particular cigar or not, but they're real big on the Corojo 99 and the Criollo 98. Those are Cuban leaf that they were an earlier leaf. I've mentioned this before. They were around for a long time. They've been around for, Corojo has been around forever. But then in 1999, they were having all kind of problems with the leaf for mold and stuff like that, blue mold or something like that. And they created a hybrid that is more resistant to the diseases and stuff. They did the same thing with the Criollo 98. I think they did the Criollo 98, yeah, 98 and 98 and 99 and the Corojo 99 and 99. But this is an advanced seed that has really done well for them. And at Criollo 99 or 98, one of my favorites. I love that leaf. The Corojo, I'm just kind of learning about the Corojo leaf, and I'm really starting to develop a affinity for that taste. But anyhow, more about it, you know, things that, you know, you might want to know. Hopefully you want to know, because that's why I bring this stuff in here and tell you all about it. But anyhow, we'll be back. Something else I want to tell you about. I've been having to touch this cigar up quite a bit. I probably don't have to, but I do, because one of the things I learned from Hamlet when I went to a rolling event that he was in, and he's like, you know what? Especially probably Cuban cigars, man. You gotta keep up with your cigar. You gotta take care of your cigar and tend it, is what he said, you know. And, you know, if I've got real bad canoeing or something like that, that's another story. But if I'm just having to touch it up, keep a nice even burn, it's not a big deal, you know. It's part of makeup of this type of cigar, you know. So, you know, I'm having to do it with this cigar more than I have any other cigar I recently smoked, but I noticed this with all of these. I'm having to do that, but it's not a big deal, you know. Keep it burning nicely, keep it fun, keep it interesting, you know, something to do while I'm smoking my cigar. I'm sitting here, we're doing this social distancing, so I can't get out to the cigar bars and stuff, so, you know, I stay interested in my cigar by messing with it and tending it and enjoying the smoke. Alright, Cigar Pals, what you don't know is this is a completely different cigar. But I noticed when I was went to edit my cigar, or my post here, that I'd never put a real ending on it, so I'm just going to tell you that this is a enjoyable smoke. It's not for the newcomer. This is not for a beginner smoker. It's not for one of you guys that doesn't like to smoke a full body cigar. This is a full body stick. A whole lot of smoke. A whole lot, there's some pepper in there. It's a strong cigar. So I'm gonna add this to the end of this video, and once again, I just want to tell you that this was a good cigar. I bought a box of 10 of these. I've enjoyed every one of them. They're different. They're not my normal, hey, this has got a lot of complexity to it. They are a nice strong cigar, but sometimes I'm in the mood for that. Anyhow, till next time, Cigar Pals, keep smoking.